Cylinder head valve train. Overview. Cylinder head. The cylinder head plays various important roles. First of all, as the name implies, it is placed on the top of the cylinder to form the sealing. This means that the cylinder head must be able to withstand high temperature and high pressure generated by the explosive combustion. There are ports formed within the cylinder head for the air-fuel mixture and exhaust gas. The flow of these gases are precisely controlled by the valves. Valve train refers to the entire valve mechanism. The cylinder head must firmly hold the valve train in position. Passages for lubricating oil is also formed within the cylinder head. Furthermore, the spark plugs that ignite the air-fuel mixture to start combustion are fitted into the cylinder head. The combustion chamber is the major source of heat. Unless it's properly cooled, the engine will not be able to realize its potential, and even the life of the engine will be shortened. Water jackets are formed within the cylinder head around the combustion chambers to provide adequate cooling.
Cylinder head removal and installation. Removal. It's important to follow the procedure described in the shop manual when performing removal or installation of the cylinder head. Pay special attention to the sequence of loosening the head bolts, and divide the task into steps, as described in the shop manual. Be sure to check details in the shop manual, because every model differs from one another. First, unscrew each bolt by 120 degrees. Second, unscrew each bolt again by 120 degrees. Unscrew each bolt for the third time until each bolt turns freely. Remove the bolts. Pay close attention to the removed cylinder head too. Before removing, prepare a safe and clean place and lay the removed cylinder head there to avoid damaging the mating surface against the engine block. There are many narrow oil passages in the cylinder head. Foreign substances in the oil passages may cause blocking up the flow of oil. If foreign substances enter the surrounding area of the valve stems, it may result in a fundamental problem. Camshaft inspection. Removal. Removal. The camshaft inspection requires removal of the camshaft. With this type of engine, it's necessary to remove the rocker arm assemblies. Please refer to the paragraph Timing Belt Removal of the chapter Cylinder Head in the shop manual for the operational procedure of an actual car. It's assumed here that the timing belt and the camshaft pulley have been already removed. For the first step, loosen the adjusting screw lock nuts and adjusting screws to release all the valve spring compression off. The second step is to loosen the camshaft holder bolts to remove the whole rocker arm assembly. Follow the loosening sequence of the camshaft holder bolts specified in the shop manual. Loosen the bolts a little at a time in the sequence described in the shop manual to prevent the related components from being damaged. Unscrew the camshaft holder bolts about 2 turns at a time. Do not remove the bolts from the camshaft holders, even though the bolts are completely loosened. The bolts keep each component of the assembly stay in their original positions on the rocker arm shafts. Therefore, the bolts should be inserted until the assembly is brought to a workbench to prevent the rocker arm assembly from coming apart. Remove the rocker arms and shafts together with the rocker arm holders. On a workbench, remove the bolts and disassemble each rocker arm shaft, rocker arm, and holder. To avoid mixing up removed parts, arrange them neatly in the sequence in which they are removed. Valve system reconditioning. Removal of valve springs, valve seals, and valves. For removing a valve spring, first, loosen the engagement between the valve keeper and each spring retainer. With a small socket whose outer diameter is slightly smaller than that of retainer, you can loosen a spring retainer by lightly tapping with a plastic hammer. Make sure there is enough space under the valve. Avoid applying great force. Set a valve spring compressor. Make sure that the compressor properly fits the valve retainer and properly fits on the center of the valve on the other side. Compress the spring to loosen the retainer by using the compressor. And remove the valve keepers. Avoid dropping off the valve keeper. Loosen the compressor and remove it. When removing, be careful not to drop the valve. Then remove the spring retainer, spring, and the valve. Remove the valve guide seal. Remove the spring seat. Organize all the items such that the cylinder numbers and locations where each item had been installed can be identified, because the original locations must be kept in reinstallation.